Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a thrift flip where I take an object I found at the thrift store and I'm going to paint it and redecorate it to make it more my style. Now this birdhouse is actually really pretty. Whoever painted it did an amazing job. Now I don't know where they kept it because that's there. That's gross. I don't know what that is. I think it's a nest of some sort, but either way, I think it's gross. This thing was $10. Okay, $10. Kind of ridiculous, but whatever. I bought it anyway. I'm going to start by removing the door, this tiny little door. Oh my gosh. As soon as I started adding the paint to it, it didn't close all the way, but we'll get there soon. But I removed the door. I have these teeny tiny little screws and I have a bunch of rusty hardware now. I'm going to put that to the side because I will eventually be cleaning that up. Now I'm going to try to get rid of the disgustingness inside and just make this thing not so grimy. Honestly, I took a damp paper towel to it and it wasn't that bad. Like it was a little dusty maybe, but the worst part was the inside of the birdhouse. Now to further prep for paint, I'm going to sand the entire surface. Honestly, I kind of, did a crappy job of doing this part because I didn't really care that much. Usually I would have sanded every part, but I wanted to get to the gesso, which was moldy. I don't know how it got moldy. It was disgusting. So I took out as much gesso as I could and put it in a separate container and threw the container away because that is nasty. Now I do want to mention, I know that the title Thrift Flip is necessarily associated with someone thrifting clothes and then flipping them to be a new style or to be more their style, but for me, I'm taking an object and I'm just painting it or adding stuff to it to make it different. I also want to make a comment that I know that my content is inspired by Mariah Elizabeth, but I have seen other people do thrift store makeovers or thrift store flips where they take objects or clothes and make it their own. So I'm just going for it too, and honestly, it's really fun, and I will be doing this again. I came up with my loose idea. Now, at this point, I wanted to make it more interesting, so I added some wood glue and these giant popsicle craft sticks just to add something else, something else to this birdhouse to make it different. And I was kind of nervous to do this, because I didn't really know how I was going to push down these sticks so that they were able to stay. I added a rubber band, which is a technique I've seen commonly done, and it works pretty great. The only thing was that both sides were not evenly done, but that's okay. I'm going to gesso the roof now just to make sure that it is also ready for paint. My idea was loosely inspired by these pictures that I found on Google, and even though I did do the base colors and mapped out my base colors on my plan here, I did take it a step further, which you guys will see sooner, which is an art form that I want to practice more to make it more clean, because this is the first time I've done that art form and it was a little bit messy or like uneven, which is all right, but I'm gonna go ahead and paint the front blue. So I painted the front blue, I painted that little part under the roof pink, and then I painted the sides yellow and the top of the birdhouse green. So here is that first rough coat, and with the green roof, I decided to take two different shades of green, still two shades that were pretty similar to each other, but I wanted some differentiation in there because I thought that would make it more unique. I don't know, I'm just, trying new things and it's working. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay on a very messy first coat of the first shade of green paint, and then once that is done, I have to also do the inside bits, which this was kind of annoying because I had to keep going back and forth between the types of green and the pink and the darker shade of green, which, believe it or not, was actually not as pigmented as the apple green, I think is the name. But as you can see, when I'm applying these coats, it's really not that pigmented, even though it's darker. So when I was doing the underside next to the pink, it was really annoying to go back over the spots that I had gone pink. So like if the pink got a little bit on the roof, I'd have to go back over it with the green, and it was, oh god, it was just a mess. So now I have a good base of my birdhouse done. Now I'm going to add some more colors. I'm going to add some orange, and I'm usually not a big fan of orange and blue together, and I really haven't put two and two together of why I don't like it, but I just not a huge fan. But I think it came out okay on this birdhouse, considering what I do to it in the future. But I'm just laying these base coats on there. It looks super rough right now, but once that's not lotion. that's white paint. I just put it into a lotion bottle. Don't ask why, okay? I don't know. Now, I had to shift the blue color because it was a little dark after it dried, but I wasted a lot of paint trying to mix the perfect blue because I added too much white and I made it way too light, and it was honestly a mess. I tried adding darker blues, but that didn't help, so I ended up pouring out all of it and starting over because I was just so frustrated that I couldn't get the right blue. Eventually I got a blue I was okay with and did the first coat on it, but still when I was looking at it, it looked too bright, but I was just going to put it off to the side, let it dry, and see how it looked when it was dried. Now I'm going to paint the little door pink, and then I'm going to paint the little handle, I think yellow or green. And my memory is not so great, but I think I painted it yellow. But this little door is so cute. I just propped it up to dry and then back to the house doing those second coats. Honestly, I think I did like 4 layers on this roof. And with the glue on those sticks and the 4 coats of paint, the popsicle sticks started to like wilt a little bit. I don't know if that's the right word, but like kind of curve. And I kind of noticed it, but it stuck on there good with the wood glue, so it was okay with me. As long as they didn't fall off, I'd be fine. I took some puffy paint, the famous technique of Mariah Elizabeth, yes, I know, but it works so good to fill little cracks. It's like caulk, it works great. I love this stuff because I'm filling in those little cracks, especially since I added the popsicle sticks, creating more cracks that I'd have to fill. It just makes it look so clean. Yes, it does take like 2 to 3 to 4 hours to dry, depending on how much you use, but it's totally worth it in the end. And all I had was white glittery or black, and I wasn't going to use black because I knew I would be stuck doing like a million coats of my lighter colors. But now at this point I have a nice solid color of everything. I always like to do an extra coat of my lighter colors like yellow because I want it to really stick out. I chose bright yellow, and if you're curious, I'm using Craft Smart acrylic paint. Now this is the technique. I do not know the name of this technique, but it is so cool where you take like thousands of tiny little dots and you just put them all together, and it looks so cool because you create just a visually beautiful work of art with it. So I tried it here, and yes, it did take forever, but I had the new Little Mermaid playing in the background, and I was getting it done. This was my really pretty flower that I added on the side, and just to break up those dots, I decided to take my Posca paint pen and just add some little swirly lines. I did paint the bottom also. I didn't do as many coats of orange because, I mean, it is the bottom. I took the hardware, I cleaned it, and then I spray painted it silver because I thought it would go better than gold with the final look of this birdhouse. Gave it a nice coat of clear varnish protector, whatever you want to call it. And oh my gosh, you guys, this birdhouse took forever, but it's so cool. Spray painted everything, sealed everything, whatever you want to call it, and then I attached the door back on to the front of the birdhouse. now that everything is sealed and painted and back together, this birdhouse is complete. I am so in love with the final product. Yes, this took forever, and honestly, you guys, I have been lacking inspiration to do art, so having this project for me was really great. Honestly, if you are lacking creativity, just go to a thrift store, find a crappy object, and redo it. Like, honestly, that'll get you back up. Now, from this to my beautiful, colorful birdhouse, what a crazy transformation. I also am sorry to that artist if, you know, you're upset that I did this, but also at the same time you donated it, so a part of you didn't care what happened. But this is what I did to it, so hope you like it, because it is what it is now. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys very soon with another one.